All right, continuing with right triangle. We got some right triangle trig, and the way that a lot of people remember these trig ratios is through this acronym SOHCAHTOA. So this is the ratio for sine, cosine, and tangent. Now, O stands for opposite, H stands for hypotenuse, and A stands for adjacent. In this example, again, we are focusing on angle A. So opposite kind of means across, adjacent means next to, and hypotenuse is always the longest side across from 90. So if I'm looking at my trig ratios, so for sine of A, sine is so opposite over hypotenuse. So in this first example, if I'm looking from A, this is my opposite, this is my adjacent, and my largest side is my hypotenuse. So opposite over adjacent is going to be so is opposite over hypotenuse, so it's going to be 5 over 13. If I want to look at cosine, so again, adjacent over hypotenuse. So my adjacent is 12 and my hypotenuse is 13, whereas tangent is opposite over adjacent. So opposite is 5, adjacent is 12. Now when I switch to look at the ratios from angle B, my opposites and adjacents are going to change as well. So now this side is the opposite side, this side is my adjacent side, and my hypotenuse stays the same. So sine of B, again, sine is so opposite over hypotenuse, 12 over 13. Cosine, so adjacent over hypotenuse, 5 over 13. And tangent is opposite over adjacent. Find the value of each trig ratio. So again, what they're asking you to do is exactly what we did up here. Find all 6 values. So it would be sine of A, cosine of A, tangent of A, and then sine of B, cosine of B, tangent of B. So again, I'm just going to write SOHCAHTOA to help me. Sine of A, so looking at A, we'll label opposite, adjacent, hypotenuse. Opposite over hypotenuse is 14 over 50. Adjacent over hypotenuse is 48 over 50. And tangent is opposite over adjacent. For sine, focusing from, it's not going to be B. That's a Mr. Larson goofed up. It's going to be from angle C. Okay, because again, we don't want to choose the right angle. So from, not from here, but from here, if we label, our hypotenuse stays the same, this becomes adjacent, and this becomes opposite. So sine is an opposite over hypotenuse, 48 over 50. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, and opposite over adjacent is 48 over 14. Sometimes you might get an answer. So again, I can use my calculator to help me. So if I were to use our Desmos calculator, go to scientific, I would go to functions. I say sine of 41 equals, and again, we want to make sure we're in degrees, not radians, so it should say degrees. So there's my answer, 0.656. I believe it said to the nearest thousandths. So again, this is approximately 0.656. Cosine 75. Go to function, cosine 75 is 0.2588, but that 8 is going to round up to a 9. So I'm going to call that 0.259. And tangent of 45 is 1. All right, there you go.